Hello, good evening, Tranonawa. Hello, everybody on YouTube and on Facebook. An unscheduled, impromptu live stream this evening with a little bit of an announcement. Hope you're all keeping well. This is not an episode of Live Irish Myths, nor is this an episode of Book Talk. Instead, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all. First of all, I'm going to allow a few people to join. First, I see 10 people, 14 people watching already on Facebook and 5 on YouTube, 18 on Facebook. There you go. Doesn't it? 22. Jeez, you have nothing to do at all. 26. Anyway, this is a special announcement. Paul Gowan is the first of the commenters tonight on YouTube. Says, howdy. I wonder, are we in the hangar tonight, Paul, or are we in Sanchach? And hopefully you're well ensconced one way or the other. 39 viewers. Janine Duffy says hello from Florida. So just to say, this is again, I said it at the start, but maybe there weren't so many people viewing. This is not Live Irish Myths, nor is it Book Talk. It's a special announcement pertaining to the Mythical Ireland calendar. Is she son hanger with a father? Hello from Kilkenny, says Stephen O'Hara. Hello, Stephen. Full Irish GK is in the house, says Toronto. Sandra Patterson says hi from Scotland. Hello, Sandra. 51 viewers on Facebook. You have absolutely no lives at all. Janine Duffy, yes, hello from Florida. Shannon Winokur is in the house, says can't wait for the calendar. Federica Guy says ciao, Anthony. Ciao indeed, Federica. Good evening to you. Kristen Gray Taggart says hi from Northern California. Hello, Kristen. Marie Lendon says hello. I'm very excited. Good stuff. Sherilyn McFetridge says cheers from Boston. Well, cheers from Drogheda to Boston. Rowan Grove says hello from Colorado. Just happened on this. Well, that's the way the best things happen, you know. Mandy McCurl says woohoo. And Deborah Williams is in the house on YouTube. Hello, everyone. Sheila Gunn says Sheila Gunn from Canada. So anyway, let's cut to the chase. Veronica Casey says, good evening, Anthony. No, I'll keep reading comments. Good evening, Anthony, and to hello, Veronica. Brendan Byrne says, is it trick or treat? That's the question. Grace Jeffers says, hello from Gundy Mayo. Hello from County Mayo. Marie Landon, looking forward to the calendar. I hope you all enjoy it. Ali Athy Thompson is also here, says, hello, Anthony. Hello, indeed. Mariana Dunn says, greetings from a very rainy Virginia. We had a real winter's day today, but it's mild this evening. It's 13 Celsius. Roy DeSoto says, good to see you. The feeling is mutual, Roy. Welcome along. Jacinta Paisley says, hi, everyone. So glad to be here this windy night. Janine Duffy says, sorry, the Americas are sending you such bad weather. Yeah, Irish weather is notoriously capricious, shall we say. Amy Wallace Dolan says, Giogrich Os Wiltshire. Hello, Amy. And Julianne Osborne is in the house. I'm so happy it's time for a live stream again. Anyway, let's cut to the chase. So the news is way earlier than I expected. Donna Jones says, good morning from Australia. Happy Friday to you, Donna, and I hope you're well. Kimberly Fields Sipala says, the calendar will make a great Christmas gift. Well, I hope so. So the... Daisy Peters is also in the house. Hello, Daisy. This is brilliant. I'm here. Here I was watching our last episode. Hi, Anthony. And my dearest Tua de Mythflix. And Zandru Reguera says, hello from Argentina. Folge, Zandru, Veronica Casey. Are you doing a live on Samhain at all? Yes, I am. As I announced at the end of, I think the last episode of Live Irish Myths and the last episode of Book Talk, the next 2 episodes of Live Irish Myths will be about Samhain. That's next Monday and the following Monday. I'm devoting 2 whole episodes to it because I think it deserves it. Anyway, what do you think of this? Ta-da! You're seeing it back to front, of course, some of you. The YouTubers, when you watch back the video, I'm not sure if you're seeing it mirrored or not. But I think the YouTubers should be seeing it okay. But I know that when you watch them back afterwards, the YouTube video is always the right way around. Unfortunately, the Facebook one. Unless you have an iPhone, and I don't have an iPhone, you can't flip the mirror selfie camera. Dawn Hilton says, it's wet here in Lancashire and flooding nicely. Oh dear, stay safe. Martha Kelleher, I hope you have a boat. Martha Kelleher McElhone says, good evening from New York. Good evening indeed. Veronica Casey says, yay, great stuff. Woo. Alwyn Roy Badzek is here. Good evening from Berkshire to all indeed. Jacinta Paisley. Thank you. Laura Gallagher says, hey, hello, thank you from AK. Have missed you. AK, is that Alaska? Wow. Well, I mean, you know, the back page rear cover, there's nothing on the back page, Paul. It's blank. But anyway, I'm going to reveal all tonight. Mirrored here, says Kerem Normal on YouTube. Thank you, Kerem. That's our good friend Kerem Gogus. Sheila Gunn says, beautiful. So this is the calendar. I was expecting them on Monday or Tuesday of next week, and a knock came at the door this morning, and it was a courier from the printing company, Anglo Printers, who are a local printing company here in Drogheda, and one of their managers, Peter Kieran's, has been a semi-regular viewer of Live Irish Myths since the first lockdown began. He has been in and out on several dozen episodes over time. Anyway, this is the cover of the calendar. And something that you're going to get a sneak preview here. Sure, look, so I wasn't sort of showing images from the inside because I felt it would be better to keep it as a surprise. But then I saw a few other photographers who've done calendars, and they're showing all their images. So I said, look, this is the big reveal. There's January, and the first person to pick up a calendar today from me commented about, yes, I love the fact that you've left space to write in appointments and stuff, which is something that people wanted. There was a discussion about whether the week started on a Monday or a Sunday. That was a bit of a debate. I just did, I just did what was easiest to do on the template, reveal all, Adam Rory Porter. Yeah, I mean the calendar, obviously. So there we have an aerial view of the Colliach Steps, otherwise known as the hills of Loch Crew in County Meath, on a wintry, snow-dusted afternoon. February, it was very, very difficult. I did say this all along. It was very difficult to choose images. So, sorry, before I sort of show everything, I need to say something, and that is that everybody who has pre-ordered a calendar is in a free draw, which will take place tomorrow evening, Irish time, at around 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. I will live stream that. In fact, I spent the whole evening writing people's names onto pieces of paper and putting them into a box for the draw. And the prize for that draw is a copy of the Field Names of County Meath, which is a very substantial and beautiful book that is now out of print and is quite valuable. So the winner of the draw will receive this. But here we go. Furthermore, just because I'm in that kind of mood, I'm going to draw 3 names in tomorrow's draw. That is anybody who has pre-ordered. I'm going to give you the link for the pre-order now, because I'm going to still accept pre-orders up until the time of the draw. And at that moment, then you can't enter the draw anymore, if you understand. So if you haven't made a pre-order on the website and you want to do so now, between now and 6 p.m. tomorrow, I will still include you in the draw. So I'm going to just paste the link in as to how you enter. So I always said the first prize was going to be the Field Names of County Meath, a valuable and beautiful book. However, I'm going to draw 3 names, and the second and third names out of the hat will also receive a copy of my novel, The Cry of the Sebach. So there you go. 1 copy of the Field Names of County Meath for the lucky first place winner, and a copy each for the second and third names out of the hat of my novel, The Cry of the Sebach. So there you go. You know what to do. If you haven't ordered it, order it now. So February's picture is one of my all-time favourites. It is the ruins of the church and cemetery on the Hill of Slane on a foggy, wintry morning with the sunrise. And I think you'll enjoy that hanging on your wall, I hope. March, you'll have seen this. You'll have seen some of these before. Absolutely no doubt about it. but now you have an opportunity to have them hanging on your wall. This is the complex of Nouth from the air on an early morning spring, misty and foggy day. So there's the March scene. This is the big reveal. Deborah Williams says, oh, wow, that's the one I don't have yet. Brilliant stuff. Cool beans, says James Farley. John Main is in the house. Hello, John. Looking forward to getting one or maybe more. Tassia Michelle says, I finally made a live stream. Hello to you all. Fáilte, Tassia, great to see you. Mary Burgess says, it's gorgeous. Thank you indeed. April is one of my all-time favorites. This is a scene overlooking the Boyne, obviously. This is one of the most beautiful parts of the Boyne Valley. This is at Ardmulchen, looking towards Dunmow. Now, there are no megalithic remains here, but I suspect this is a very, very ancient place name. Dunmow means the fort of the cow. And when you see the cow in place names, of course, pertaining to the Boyne, etc., Boyne, the bright cow goddess. There's a horse in grazing in the field there. Anyway, one of the things I really love about this picture, just to be an absolute camera nerd about it, is that I took this photo with my D3, a Nikon D3. In its day, the Nikon D3 was the leading professional DSLR. It absolutely wiped everything else out of the water, or blew them out of the water when it was released in 2007. That camera is now 13 years old. And although it only produces a 12 megapixel image, I think you'll agree it is still capable of capturing a most wonderful photograph. Bianca Fashel says, good evening, Anthony and all. You're very welcome along, Bianca. May's picture. There were several contenders here, but I went with a Bealtaine theme, and the site most closely associated with Bealtaine, for me anyway, is Ishnach, and I couldn't resist what is my favourite photo of Isle na Mirren, the Stone of Divisions, at twilight at Bealtaine, with the stars coming out, and I have lit it up with torchlight, looking, I think you'll agree, pretty fabulous. Also, again, for the nerds in you, those of you who are in graphic design and those of you in art will probably know that yellow and blue are very, very good color complements. Karen Goga says, Nikon D3X is still one of the best today. Karen, this is going to sound indulgent, but I actually have a D3 and a D3X. I got the D3X first, actually. The D3X is a 24 megapixel camera. It is the high resolution version of the D3. They're both fabulous cameras, and I have done an episode on my photography on Live Irish Myths, so you'll be able to see those cameras there. June, I went for the Hill of Tara and Doan and Neil, the Mound of the Hostages, at sunset in midsummer. And what I did was I used remote flash to light up the entrance of the passageway, because the sun was actually behind the mound when it was setting. So I hope that you find that a suitable photo for June. When those, in June, you have to wait. That's probably about 9:30 at night in the evening time. And, the twilight is eternal in Ireland at midsummer. It doesn't actually get fully dark. I think I've said that on quite a number of episodes. Tess McKinney says, hello from Kansas. Fáilte, Tess. You're very welcome along. And on to July, we flip the calendar around to go back through the pages. You've seen this one because this was the one I used to advertise the calendar. And this is, look, I didn't have camera equipment when Comet Hale Bop was around in the late 90s. I didn't have a camera when Comet Hyakutake was around, the last really brilliant comets. But this time I had a camera, and I managed to capture what was a very ethereal shot at Sheedinbroga or Newgrange of Comet Neowise hanging over the entrance of Newgrange. And that was in July. So I think that perhaps, hopefully, I hope you'll agree, that makes a suitable image for the July page of the calendar. So what happened was myself and my son, Josh, we arrived. This was probably around midnight. We had been up at Monaster Boyce and had taken pictures of the comet behind the round tower there. We came to Newgrange, and within a minute of arriving, a fog came in, right? and it threatened to envelop the whole scene, which actually wouldn't have been nice because it would have obliterated the comet. But it came in and it lifted again. And as it lifted, I got this really ethereal glow. I mean, for me, it's a once-in-a-lifetime shot, absolutely, without any hesitation. I can tell you it's a once-in-a-lifetime shot. You'll have seen that when I shared that shot on Facebook, it got quite a lot of shares and likes and all the rest. For August, I went with the theme of Lunasa, and particularly Lunasa alignment. And one of my favorite shots, I have several shots of the setting sun shining into the passage and chamber of Cairn S at Slieve na Caille, Loch Crew. You saw Loch Crew in the January picture from the air with the snow. But I think you'll agree this is a very dramatic sunset. And I lit up the stones in the foreground. It was just the most amazing thing. The few times I was there in August, again with one of my sons, I think that day, and another day, it was completely overcast, and there was just this sliver of sky along the horizon where the sun was setting. And eventually the sun appeared for a few minutes in that gap and lit up the underbelly of cloud. It just produced the most extraordinary sky. This was difficult to choose because there are 2 or 3 really good images from Cairn S. Anyway, I hope you can make out the faded megalithic art on this stone in the passage of Cairn S. September. This is a little bit poignant. I'll have shown you this photo before as well. And that's because Cairn T at Loch Crew, the Hag's Cairn, as I continually refer to it because that was its name on the old maps, is no longer accessible. You cannot get in there anymore. You cannot get up close and personal with this stone, which is the Equinox stone. This is a photo that I took in 2017 and required a lot of nimble dexterity, clambering into small spaces, setting up a tripod, setting up a camera, trying to focus using torchlight to illuminate the stone. But I'll tell you, the result is my absolute favorite image of the Equinox stone at Loch Crew at Cairn T. And the reason that is apt for September, of course, is because at the equinoxes, the rising sun shines its light onto this stone and illuminates it brilliantly in a golden glow, a very sort of yellowy, orangey light, quite different to what you see here. This is a paler light, and you'll see that there's a hint of green in this because there is a certain amount of algae growing on the stone. I just think I have several pictures of this stone that I really, really like, but this one, every time I see it, actually, it's a little bit emotional for me, actually, because I realized that I was so lucky for years to be able to access that chamber and to get up close with these symbols. And unfortunately, I can't do that anymore. So to have a record of it is a great pleasure. 2, 3 more to go, but you'll definitely have seen one of them. I absolutely guarantee you that you will have seen one of them. So we're on to October, and one of those familiar views. I have captured this view several times with the evening mist, but it was difficult because I'll have to show you. There's a version of this on the cover of my Mythical Ireland book. If you unfurl the cover of Mythical Ireland, you'll see it's actually all one photo. The Dogda's Mound, Mound B, very close to the River Boyne, and Newgrange, Sheed and Broga on a mist evening. This is all one photo. And you see this kind of bluish cast. That is natural. That is not something that we did. That's not a graphic design a cheat, as it were. But anyway, it's another version of that photo taken from the same location, showing the Dogda's Mound shrouded in mist with Sheed and Broga up on the ridge. Taken in the autumn, probably. I think this was taken in October, and you can see the glow, the afterglow of the twilight. You've got this lovely, again, contrast of colors. This lovely, not contrast, color. What did I say earlier? Complement. This lovely complement of colors, the blues and the yellows. And what often happens is the mist descends and it moves along. And if you take a long exposure, this is probably 30 or 45 seconds, it even looks hazier. And one can almost imagine, can't one, the spectral forms of the Tuatha De Danann emerging from that mist in the evening glow, Two more. November again, so I'm concentrating largely on Brunabonia, Tara, the Boyne Valley, and Lough Crew. It's very difficult. To be honest, I could have produced 4 or 5 calendars easily, but then I'd have the problem of who wants which and all the rest. It just seemed easier just to choose 12 photos and do it myself. This is the Sheelagh gig carved onto the standing stone in the cemetery on the hill of Tara. And again, that is a twilight shot taken at this time of the year, November. We're coming up on Samhain now. I had the camera set up at a little bit of a distance. And again, I was producing remote light on this using either strobe, flash, or torchlight, Shannon Winokur says, how about a book of your photography? Believe it or not, something I'm thinking about very strongly, Shannon. And then we're on to the last but not least, and for me was a personal highlight, because it's so difficult to organize. And this is you'll have seen this, but it might be nice to have it. Donaline Nicarton says, will you be doing a video about Samhain? Yes, I was asked already earlier on a few minutes ago. The next 2 episodes of Live Irish Myths are about Samhain. So that's next Monday and the following Monday, 2 episodes about Samhain. And for December, it's winter solstice. I couldn't represent winter solstice better than a photo from inside the chamber of Newgrange. With the tri-spiral illuminated. So just for the sake of full disclosure, this is not the real sunlight, this is the simulated beam, because to get in there for the real sunlight, I haven't had the pleasure in recent years. I was in there in 2010 with a group of people and it was impossible to get a shot like this. So this is the closest I was going to get to it. And to be honest with you, with the way everything is at the moment with COVID-19, I suspect, and I did say it in my Doubt live broadcast the other day, without preempting a decision by the OPW, because I'm not privy to that information, but I highly doubt that there'll be anybody in the chamber of Newgrange this year for Solstice. And it may actually be that there might not be even a gathering outside. We'll see. So something I should mention to you is that when it came to the dates and what to put in the calendar, I put a few of the festivals, like I put in, I think, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, Christmas Day, and all the rest. But every month I have a note of the new moon and the full moon. And where applicable, I have a note of the meteor showers. So in early January, you'll see quadranted meteors. In February, I have the date of Imbolc. For those of us who celebrate the cross-quarter dates, the ancient dates, Imbolc in February, again, new moon and full moon. So for instance, in March, as well as new moon, full moon, I have the maximum western elongation of Mercury, when you'll see it. The best chance to see it in the eastern sky at dawn or before dawn. Venus, maximum western elongation on the 20th of March, again at the equinox. Venus will be the highest or the furthest away from the sun that morning. And then I have the vernal equinox, new moon, full moon, etc., etc. So I think you get the picture. In May, we have the date of Bealtaine on May the 5th. In June, we have the date of the summer solstice, which this year in Ireland is on the 21st. There are 1 or 2 of these dates that they actually change according to where you are in the world. So this could be, say, 20 minutes past midnight Irish time, but it may actually be the 20th in other parts of the world. So forgive me for that, but I had to sort of keep it to one date. Anyway, that is the Mythical Ireland calendar. The other thing was when it came, maybe the workers should be given the chance to experience solstice in the chamber. Yes, Barbara, and they actually do get that opportunity every year. So there you go. The workers are allowed in. So there you go. It's a lovely idea. reward them for all their hard work during the year. So in terms of shipping, I had thought about tubes, but the problem with tubes is that you have to roll it up, and when you roll it up and you unfurl it, it's very difficult for it to lose that, rolled up shape. So I'm going to ship them in C3 card-backed envelopes. Please do not bend. So hopefully they'll arrive safely. We did have an issue with one order for Island of the Setting Sun, where the envelope was ripped and the book was damaged. But that, of course, was replaced. And our postal service is generally pretty good. In fact, I don't know whether it's our postal service or the postal service in the United States. Do not want to get into any discussion about the election. I know it's hard to avoid it. And what has happened to the postal service in the States. But I know that when I dispatched the first copies of Island of the Setting Sun, the pre-orders to the States, some of them arrived in 6 days. So if I posted them, say, on a Wednesday, they arrived. I think I did post them on a Wednesday, and they arrived the following Tuesday, some of them. So in general, it's taking around 6, 7, 8, 9 days for printed material to arrive in the States from here. So anyway, that's the calendar. I hope that all of you who have ordered it really enjoy it. I also hope that, sorry, a slight distraction there, that you can understand the predicament of having to choose 12 images. Shannon Winokur is on the ball here tonight, and that is that a book. So I've published 4 non-fiction works which are very heavily illustrated, but I think a hard-backed coffee table picture book with less text, just more photos and just a small amount of explanatory text. I think that's an idea, definitely. Anyway, if you can't pay with credit card, or you don't like using credit cards on the internet, my shop is secure and it does have the requisite certificates. I can also accept payment via PayPal. There are instructions on the website about that, but if you need further instruction, just drop me an email. No problem. mythicalireland@gmail.com is the email address. So just to recap, I'm still accepting pre-orders up until 6 p.m. Irish time tomorrow evening, which is about 20 and a half hours from now. So if you haven't ordered and you want to be in the draw for the copy of the Meath Field Names book, or for a second or third prize of The Cry of the Sebok, then do so before 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. So that's it. I should also say, and it does sound like a sales pitch, this is there is a limited number of them, and more than half of what has been printed has already been sold in pre-sales, in pre-orders. So I would say to you, if you want one, definitely sooner rather than later. And that's because there's something I have to tell you, that I will start tomorrow advertising them locally. And I expect that quite a lot of people in Drogheda and the local area here in the Boyne Valley will want to buy calendars as Christmas presents, etc., etc. So the remaining stock will probably disappear fairly quickly. Anyway, that's the sales pitch. I have to give it to you, you know. So I'll just put those back in the box. As I say, the Mythical Ireland 2021 calendar, the first calendar I've ever produced, despite having been encouraged and coaxed to do this for several years now. The benefit is that if I do another one next year, regardless of how many pictures I take in the coming year, I have a considerable catalogue, a backlog of work, as you can imagine. So there'd be no problem filling several dozen calendars, actually, with different designs. So I'll wait a moment for any questions. Paul Garron has his hand up and says, if I order again, am I in twice? Yes, because I think that's the fairest thing to do. If you order 2 copies, your name will be in twice. If you order 3, your name will be in 3 times. I think that's representative. That's fair enough, you know. Amantia System says, hi, I'm Rory Ushin. This is my first live. Hello from Wisconsin. Gia Glitch. Well, Gia Glitch, Amantia, and Falche, you're very welcome along. This is a sort of a special live. This is, we normally do live Irish Myths or book talk. This evening was just this little announcement. So it's great to see you. Hopefully you can join us for Live Irish Myths, which is on every Monday at 8 p.m. Irish time, 8 p.m. GMT. And again, just if you're in the States, just be careful of that, because I think your clocks are going back this weekend. Ours went back last weekend, which caused chaos, because previously where New York was 3 p.m. for Live Irish Myths, all of a sudden it was 4 p.m. For New York for Live Irish Myths. But that's going to revert again when your clocks go back. Teresa K. Drevdal says, hello from McMinnville in Oregon. Hello. Love to hear from all of those out in the Western states. Alwyn says, it's lovely, glad to have secured mine. Yes, indeed. A lot of the names that are flashing up, by the way, this evening are familiar, because I was handwriting them onto little scraps of paper earlier, as I say. So I have a number of blanks, little bits of paper here that will contain any other names for pre-orders between now and 6 p.m. tomorrow. And I'll put you into the draw. And that should be a bit of fun, if nothing else. That'll mean your package, when it arrives, will be substantially heavier than everyone else's, hopefully. Any other questions? Apart from Paul Gowan's very fair question, actually. Love the full moon details, says Stephen O'Hara. It's something that I have loved since I used to get a diary every year. And I used to, I've always kept journals, you know. And I remember one year, after a few years, I got one and it had the moon phases in it. New moon, first quarter, full moon, last quarter. I was like, oh, this is brilliant, because I was so interested in astronomy. Of course, nowadays, there's phone apps that show you the phase of the moon, and they even alert you when it's new moon and full moon, which is great. Yvette Tillema says, hi, I just came in to watch yesterday's book talk that I missed, and look what I find. Hi, Yvette. And I was just saying there that all the pre-orders, I was writing the names for the draw for the book. But the first prize is the Mead Field Names book, but I'm going to actually draw 3 names in total, and the second and third of those names will get a copy of my novel, The Cry of the Sebok. So anyway, if that isn't a great encouragement for you to get in and make your purchase, then I don't know what is, and hopefully they'll make a nice Christmas present. Not to panic either about the quantity. If they sell out, I of course would consider getting another print run done, so don't worry about that. Anyway, I'm delighted that the time schedule has worked out nicely. I did say I would hope to have them by Halloween and have them out in the post by mid-November. If you read the website, it says pre-order now, calendars will be available for dispatch in mid-November. It now looks like, all going well, I'll get to envelope them and get all the address labels done, perhaps over the weekend. Would hopefully intend to do what I did with Island of the Setting Sun, that is, dispatch all the Irish ones on Monday and dispatch the Britain and Europe ones, and then the United States, Australia, Canada, etc., in 3 separate blocks. Because when you arrive down in the post office with dozens and dozens and dozens of envelopes, you just hold up the queue. So we just do it in 2 or 3 excursions. So I might ask my son Finn, he's my youngest son, to draw the name from the box tomorrow. So all the names that have pre-ordered so far are in there, and any others that arrive in between now and 6 p.m. tomorrow will be added. And I'll get him to do the draw. We'll do it live here on Facebook and YouTube, and it'll be a little bit of excitement. And then we'll get to do the serious work, which is involved of writing envelopes. My favorite part of the job. Not. April Michael Freed says, hi from Michigan, a lovely gift for myself. Brilliant stuff. Well, I hope that you really enjoy it, and I hope that it certainly lives up to its billing. Deborah Williams says, thank goodness, something forward Something positive to look forward to. Susan O'Sullivan says, hi from Cork. Love your books. Would love to see one written especially for children. Possible ? Yes, indeed. Well, actually, The Cry of the Sebok, while it's not written for children, is a book for all ages. And I have some ideas along those lines. So leave that with me and we'll see what we can do. So that's it. That's all I have to say tonight. And we've been on for half an hour already. Wow, this was supposed to be a 10 or 15 minute, but that's the way it always turns out. It always turns out that I end up waffling and people ask. Fintan MacBochra asks if I can speak on Fintan. Well, I have done, but have I done an episode specifically on Fintan? He has been mentioned quite a few times in our Live Irish Myths episodes. Let me just have a quick look at actually, no, I think I have yet to do an episode devoted to him. We had the Live Irish Myths list of episodes compiled very kindly by Ger Moan. I'm just doing a search here for Fintan. No matches. Okay. So we haven't actually done an episode specifically about Fintan. But yes, I'd love to do an episode on Fintan, and he's on my list. Fintan MacBochra wants an episode on Fintan MacBochra. Bilingual Gaeilge Berla books are always great for kids. Yes, indeed. And it's all about the time. I have no audiobooks, and it's a request that people keep making is like, can you do your books as audiobooks? Yes, I can, but I work full time, and I need to find time to do these things, and that can be difficult with everything else that's going on. But yes, some brilliant ideas there. More trips to the post, says Morwena Blogs. Extra days out when in lockdown is something to look forward to. Yeah, I never thought of that, actually. Robin Rickman says, I picked up mine on Monday. I presume you are referring to Island of the Setting Sun rather than the calendar, which is not yet available because they're all sitting here in my house. Yeah, brilliant. I'm delighted. Well, I hope you enjoy that. Janet says, oh, we'll get to meet Finn. Actually, I shouldn't have said without actually asking him first, but I'm sure he will agree because he's a very good, he's a wonderful son. So that's it. I think we'll leave it at that. Thanks a million for tuning in, and yeah, I'm excited, and it's great. It's great to actually have the physical calendar in the hand, and to know that it has been printed well, and that it looks the part. So hopefully, in a couple of months' time, just over 2 months' time, you'll be hanging this on your wall somewhere, and this will be the view. You'll be able to take in those lovely views that it has been my absolute pleasure and honor to capture over the last few years. Most of the photos in the calendar are recent. They've been taken in the last 2 to 3 years. So there you go. Anyway, in the meantime, don't forget to stay safe and stay well, everybody. So join us at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening when we'll do the draw. Looking forward to that. We'll have a little bit of fun. And that won't be a long episode, I don't think. And then maybe over the weekend we might do an impromptu, unplanned live stream. We'll see about that. I'm still restricted to 5 kilometers, so there isn't too far that I can go. And then Monday evening for Live Irish Myths. And so in the meantime, keep washing your hands, use your hand sanitizer, cough and sneeze into the crook of your arm or the back of your elbow. Some people calls it, even though I would consider that the front of your elbow, but that's your elbow really, so who knows. Social distancing outside, and of course, don't forget to put on, this is a homemade mask. My wife made this, and it actually has a vacuum cleaner bag sewn into it for extra filtration. So that's what I look like. I look like an absolute thug when I'm out on the streets. Don't forget to wear your mask. Look, keep yourself safe and keep everyone else safe. And even if you don't believe it's a threat, you're better off to be safe anyway, just in case. Don't do anything silly. Stay safe and stay well. We'll see you all tomorrow evening for the live draw for the Meath Field Names book. And if you haven't placed your order, do so now. Thanks a million. Good evening. Ichawa Kolosov, Slán Gafol, August Togabuge, Ismisha Antono Moraku. I'm Anthony, and this has been Mythical Ireland. announcement for the calendar 2021. Good night. Fame.